7, I think.
Okay. We're going to go ahead and get started. Misa's going to lead the meeting tonight, so I'll let her take it from here.
Do I get to play with this?
Sure.
I wouldn't advise you.
Okay.
Unless somebody
So
just said it.
looks like we're gonna call to order and do our roll call. If you want to start the roll call, and then we'll end up with. the
Kevin
online-
Stratus.
I'm sorry, what was it, Tim?
Tim.
George Wild,
Lana Burnett,
Tony Marisi,
Rusty Applin,
Dennis Sukumelli.
Janine Zimmerman,
Jeremy Caudill,
Lisa Anders.
Tina.
Oh, Tina Marie. Sorry.
It's all right. And note the time, 7:05 p.m. George, do you want me to go down what we talked about already, or do you
Yeah,
want to
well-
go over?
well, why don't you do that?
Okay, so George and I met a couple weeks ago, and we went over a bunch of the information. To start off, let's talk about the beer garden. When Joyce was here last month, we had discussed if we could get Hilltop Brewing to join the festival again. They had said in the past they would be interested in being our sole sponsor. But we have not yet gotten any response from them. We've reached out twice, I think. So we may need to forego that as an option. I know that Samantha had Arable Brewing out in Veneta sent an email asking if they could be part of the BlackBerry Jam, and I looked them up on the internet. They're a pretty small, like, I think it's a husband and wife and their friend. So I think if anything, they might be an option to have as a food vendor, but not as a whole beer garden the way Hilltop had done it in the past. So I don't know what the rules are, if they're just a food vendor and not like a full beer garden, or how that would work, but we can call them and see what their capacity could be. Not,
So have you thought about, when we do the beer garden and the concerts, the last few years in Oak Ridge, we actually did our own beer garden as a Concerts in the Park. We just had to have somebody with a liquor license, which we had. And then also I know there's other organizations that will sometimes sponsor a beer garden. So like there's a group in Oak Ridge called GOATS, which is the Greater Oak Ridge Area Trail Stewards, and they lots of times will do them as a fundraiser. So I don't know if you thought about doing something like that. They have their own liquor licenses. They have all, they would just come in with their beer and.
well, the meeting before last, we had said we could do without the beer garden.
Yeah.
And then at the last meeting, it was, we have to have the beer garden. It sponsors the whole thing and it brings all the people in. Now, I mean, I think at this point, whoever takes on leading to the next thing, Rhett is not going to be doing the food vendors this year. And so we have his binder, and we need somebody to take on the food vendors, if anyone would be interested in doing that. And I think anyone who takes on the food vendors will also take on the beer garden responsibility, if you guys agree.
Well, on this beer garden thing, it's quite a big operation to set up. We're running out of time.
Yeah.
We really need to make a quick decision, yes or no. I mean, we're in, what are we, March now? Next meeting's April. It takes a while. So, it may behoove us to decide what what we want to do, you know, it's
Well, you haven't always had a beer garden, right? That was new, just,
last year,
okay, so it's only had one time,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and remember what Joyce was saying, like we would have to move the fencing out.
Oh,
And
yeah.
if there's no beer garden, we don't need the fencing,
No,
right?
right.
So
Right.
is that maybe something you would wanna?
I don't want to take
use?
on the beer garden, but I mean, I don't, for me personally, I don't care that we have a beer garden. I do
Yeah.
know that usually if you have it, it's gonna bring more people, but it's not always what you want to bring.
Yeah,
So, and I think there's a lot entailed when you do the beer garden, because it's gonna affect insurance, it's gonna affect, you've got to make sure they have their liquor licenses,
mhm.
you know,
Which
if
I think was the benefit of the breweries. doing
Right,
it,
because
was
they would have all that,
their-
your servers
yeah.
have, you know, I know through OLCC, you can get a server form that as long as you have somebody with a liquor license, if they're just pouring, they can just read this pamphlet and sign it, and you're okay. Because that's what we've done with the concerts, but it's a, you know, it's a lot, the beer garden is a lot to deal with, so.
And the fact that we're cutting down the whole
Right,
jam this year, of reducing it just to get the thing going, you know, because we wouldn't be having Friday, you know, like we normally do. So, you know, it's a tough call, really.
were you asking me if I'd want to take on the food vendors?
Either.
I don't mind, I mean, tell me what you need, what it entails, I
Well,
guess, is
you
it
know,
just
I just-
reaching out to people and?
I was looking through the binder. I've only had it for 2 days, but it seems like what he has here is, you know, all the forms that we had got sent a few weeks ago, where it's just like the
Right.
fill out the form to apply to be a vendor. It's just a bunch of those forms with notes on them and whether or not they paid for their spots.
Okay.
This-
I can do that. mean, I don't mind.
I didn't have time to look through it to see
Yeah,
for a list
so
of names or companies
would-
that should be in there, I think.
the chair of this be responsible for the placement, like for assigning the booths for these?
No,
Okay.
well, they don't have booths because they have the trucks.
Okay,
So there is a set spot by the stage there where
And they
they,
just pull up. and
where they are.
take a spot.
they're assigned to
First
there.
come, first
And
served.
then the rest of the park is the booths.
and then we also need a craft vendor person still. Tina, did you have someone that? So those are the two big open spots.
I don't mind taking on the food.
Okay.
How many food vendors? Oh, sorry.
Misha, I don't have a problem taking on the craft vendors.
Okay, hold on one second. This,
Usually, I thought they had about 5 or 6.
yeah, I
food
want to say
vendors.
6
Okay.
people, but there's a bunch of. You can look
I'll
through
look
this,
through
and
it
if you
and-
decide this week that you,
Start reaching out to some people.
yeah,
While she's thinking about the crafts, the food vendors, I don't think we need to put a limit on what they can serve. You know, one year we tried to control, you know, so-and-so does hamburgers, so-and-so
Right.
does hamburgers.
Well,
I think
that-
let them have at it and see what,
yeah.
you know, competition helps with pricing.
And is this pricing is staying the same?
Yeah,
Well, we don't know. I mean,
Oh,
that's all
okay.
materials,
Okay.
you know, so there's nothing current there.
I have all the current stuff on the website. So I got access to the website too. That was, so, yeah, so we can look, I want to say, were all the prices the same, like,
Which prices are you talking about?
Well-
to get a, to,
You mean for them to park up?
Right,
Yeah.
so,
Well, yeah, yeah.
because my thought is what I would want to do is go through here and see who I can contact, and I first call them, but I would also like to be able to send an information sheet on what we're looking for along with an application. So I
it's on our
wanted,
website.
the application's on the
Yes,
website
it
now,
is.
okay.
And I just got access to the website. I haven't fully gotten in there, because right now, when you go to the BlackBerry Jam website, the first thing you see is a big banner that says the BlackBerry Jam is canceled.
Oh, gosh.
And so we need to get in there and, you know, fix that. And then I was hoping to tonight find out what things we're gonna lock in for events, so I could update that part of it at least. And then go from there.
Okay, so are the rules on there as well? 'Cause it
They
says they're gonna abide by the
Are, I
rules.
believe
Okay, so
so.
they're I'll look at the website. and see
Yeah, I
what's
pulled
on
it up when George and I met a couple
Okay.
weeks ago and it was.
And I found some, I don't have it with me, some documentation, what their responsibilities are as regarding
there. Here's a blank one.
being prepared, what time they have to be ready for the food inspector to come and inspect, and what is required when the inspector comes, you know, because they all have to be inspected.
Well, and they have to, I'm
You know.
assuming they have to get their own food permit, right?
Oh, well, yeah, because if they're a caterer, then we'll have that, you know.
Can they pay online for their slots? you know? Like when they apply for a slot?
They. I
So when you
think
go
they
to
did-
blackberryjamfestival.com,
They were supposed to be able to pay for everything.
They did
online,
last
yeah.
time that we
There's-
had it.
there's a little hamburger up in the corner that you, I call them hamburgers. It's the 3 lines where you drop the menu down.
Uh-huh.
And it says vendors. And when you go in that, it says downloads and it says 2020 craft vendor registration form there. And it just links you to that form that you're holding.
Because I already can tell you there's 2 different ones in here I found.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure before we start sending anything out to anybody that
It's current.
it's all current.
Yeah.
Because on this one, I just found this one here that
So-
has vendor types, craft, nonprofit. That may be, oh, this must be for the other than food.
I think we would want to get Rusty access to the email inbox then that is on this form where it says info@blackberryjamfestival.com because that's likely where people are going to send things.
Okay, email
I'll email
what you
some.
need and we'll look into that.
Most of what I do at work. So what I can get on my computer at work is pretty limited.
I know, that's why I couldn't get on it because I was
And
at
but
work.
that's where I'm
and-
at most of the time, so yeah. But I do notice on these applications, it says they have to enclose back with this $50 deposit, but you're saying they've been able to do it on there.
It kind of looks like
Okay.
they have to mail it.
They
It's
can
not
call
super
the city
spelled
hall
out.
and pay over the phone.
Okay,
Okay.
well,
I
I
might want to
I'll go
update
through
that
all this
information here.
and if I have questions,
Well, I do know a lot of them didn't pay online.
right.
Rhett had to go chasing them down.
Doesn't look like. you
Well,
can
and I
do-
think that's the problem.
We don't
We
have a-
expect
online
everybody
thing.
to do online because not everybody does online and some people aren't comfortable putting their credit cards online. So I would like to be able to mail them a form plus some sort of an initial letter stating this is what we are looking for and you can either mail it back or direct them to the website.
That sounds good.
Because I've just learned over the years and the things I've been involved, it's just not everybody's comfortable with online and they're definitely lots of times not comfortable paying online. So, and this says deadline May 1st. Is that still the current on that website? For them to get in their deposit, I guess it should say.
Well, that's when we were
That's
starting off.
only,
Oh, okay,
At the end of the previous BlackBerry Jam, we start on the next
yeah,
one.
that's like
so,
6 weeks.
You
We
know,
might want to move that.
I think
out
we need to
too.
move that up a little bit, under the circumstances.
Lisa,
yeah.
do you have access to update the form online? Is that who is doing that kind of stuff?
I think I do,
Okay,
but if I don't, I can get Samantha to do it.
okay.
And several of these forms do need to be updated, and I noticed the wording on some of them is not correct.
I do see a contact list, vendor contact list here, so.
Although that's what we
With some
couldn't
phone
find.
numbers and emails, so, oh, but this is not food, this is.
No, that's just a general one.
This is just the other,
Oh,
oh, maybe this is actually a committee list. It looks like, which maybe we should have,
Yeah.
that would be nice to have.
Yeah.
This is just a list of old committee members. Okay, I'll go through it and I'll get, what is your phone number? Lisa?
541-206-2727. Go ahead and give me yours.
I'll give you one of my cards and I'll just
Yeah,
put my
that
first, my cell phone number
Okay, next thing on here would be the car show. Has. Did
Not got
you-
anywhere yet on that.
Okay, and we were gonna reach out to Nate Anderson for that, to see if,
Doesn't seem to be very receptive.
okay. Craft vendors. So we need somebody to, it's kind of the same idea as doing the,
I think Tina said.
Tina will.
well, so Tina, you're already doing the Facebook and posters and marketing.
Yeah. It's not that hard for me to reach out to craft vendors.
Yeah, well, it's not the reaching out so much as the, a lot of times the craft vendors are gonna be reaching out to us, right? I mean,
The problem usually is everybody wants the spot closest to the stage or one with electricity or, you know. So
It's
you have
on
to
the-
figure out who needs what time. Tina's nodding, she knows.
yeah, it's on the
Yeah.
phone, which that, so.
Yeah.
My mom is also here and is also willing to take on any of these things. So I don't want anyone to feel like they need to double up on any one thing because, oh, George too, did you reach out to Shannon on the parade?
Yes, that's a go.
It is, so she's.
Yeah, I didn't
gonna-
get a chance to meet with her because she was sick.
Okay,
So,
we might invite her to
yeah,
join us.
Yeah.
here.
did that. But I don't think she's recovered, so.
Okay.
She'll do that. And there again, that's another form that needs to be updated. It's incorrect.
Okay, so. Historically, George, on the craft vendors, they do the same thing as the food vendors. They fill out the form and send it in.
Oh,
and-
yeah, because it's quite explicit what's required. And the form's online for them to send in.
Mhm.
And the thing is, we have to be careful when we're using the word craft vendors. I think we should be talking about booths,
Yes.
you know, otherwise we'll have two different operations going, you know, because everybody has a booth, whether it's craft or if it's whatever it is, you know, selling T-shirts and things like that. It's all encompassing the word booth rather than craft. Otherwise, we'll have a real mix-up going on there. You know.
And do you allow political booths?
Pardon?
Political? Like-
No,
I just want, are you allowing it? What I asked, because I've only been once or twice that I can remember of, but I did, so like if somebody wants to put in a booth because they're running for governor or are those?
well, there is a spot, there is a provision for that.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
what I was
there is a
asking.
provision for that, yes. But we, you know, what we're talking about, like person who sells vents and
Right.
belts and
Right,
clothing and T-shirts and tie-dye and
right.
they want to booth, you know,
But if those other people want to come, somebody's got to coordinate them too, right?
yeah.
Everything.
They probably would fit in with the booths. One thing, especially since if Hilltop doesn't sponsor us, Rusty was mentioning last time that we had sent out letters for donations.
Yeah, because we sponsor it every year and we'll sponsor it again. I just need a letter, so I don't know who has that letter. It should go out
Oh,
to,
yeah.
should be going out to all the businesses and the.
Did anybody see a copy of the letter like that?
I haven't yet, but I'm sure
Where we
Me
could change the
can-
date on it.
help us find one.
Look, maybe it's in here.
That would be extra important this
I
year
look-
if we're not.
See if we have something in front that we used in the past.
So Tony and Tina originally had wanted to head that up, right?
What?
You guys had originally wanted to head up the sponsorship letters and the reaching
Yeah,
out to
I've
the,
been talking to people, you know, and tell them that it's going on, and now that we have a date and everything, I've got people to say yes.
But
But
you,
yeah, I need,
most of us need a letter.
Yeah, they.
yeah, I
have
need,
that.
Yeah,
yeah, of course, I
W9,
need a
right?
letter.
just something, yeah.
Yeah, something so they can.
So as you look through your binders and stuff, look for, there may be a copy or there might be one online.
Well, there wouldn't be a thank you letter online.
No, there wouldn't, well,
Yeah,
for
that would be coming from
sponsors,
us.
No, I didn't say thank you. I said it's a letter
It's a,
asking the sponsor.
I believe
So there is
it
a
might have,
download sponsor form on the
it
website.
is on there. Okay.
Okay, well, there you
Okay,
go.
all right.
Thank
It
you,
is a
Sam.
2020 form, but I personally think if we, don't have an opportunity to update titles on forms, we shouldn't be too concerned about that. I mean, it'd be good if we could get it done, but
Yeah, I think if we just update the headers within,
Yeah.
that will be okay. Maybe we should remove the on the forms themselves.
That'd probably be a good idea, then you wouldn't have to do it every
Yeah.
year.
Just take it off.
I actually don't see it on the form itself, only on the link to the form.
Okay.
I do have that in my other binder.
Okay,
So that is-
the sponsorship letter.
Yeah,
And so,
there is a date. It says address below by July 22nd, 2020. So we do need to update the form a little bit.
maybe June. There is a list for sponsorships that all of the past committee members kind of reached out to all of their contacts individually and secured sponsorships. And when we would come to the meetings, here it is, very last one. We would kind of have updates from everybody on the list of who they had for advertisers and who was willing to participate.
That
So,
was, some of that was probably for our program, because they put the advertisement in the program.
yes, that's true.
And I think we decided not to do a program this year, a big program.
Yeah, we won't have time.
Yeah,
Well,
but I
we
reached
could
out
finish.
to a couple of the artists that are in town. For people that want to do signs and don't have anybody to do a sign for their advertising. That we could have somebody to.
Well, we don't,
Have a sign to put up for them while the event is going on.
if they, I think they have to provide their own
That's what I would say.
banners and signs. We
Okay.
don't get to create
Well,
them
I
for
just, in
companies.
case somebody doesn't have the opportunity in their small business.
Yeah, we could refer them to.
I reached out to a couple people to see if they would help.
Yeah,
haven't
because
heard
the
back from them yet.
sponsorship form, it actually outlines the different levels of advertising
Okay,
that they can buy into.
That
And
was
so
for
if
the
you look at the
program.
old program, these smaller ones here. Let's see, what year is yours? This is the 25th anniversary, the 2019.
the last one.
Yeah, this was 2018.
So these business card style ads in our program, those were $50. And then the next level up is a quarter page, which is these ones.
okay.
That's
Well,
a
since we're not gonna be doing the
250.
magazine. What? are
So,
they-
well, that's the thing is we need to decide because this is, as Tim said, it's on our website. We're gonna have to update this to something else because you don't get down to having a banner placement until you spend $1,000, or no, $500.
Well, that'll have to be changed.
Yeah,
probably.
we need to,
I was thinking, they have the front of the stage down low. Banners could be placed there
yeah, we could put them behind.
and behind the
bands?
band.
Yeah, off the band, yeah.
And then there's
And then if
wall
the,
space on each side of the stage.
I would like to make a suggestion that you maybe form a committee of 1 or 2 people. There's some things that should be getting done right away, and that's probably your most highest priority is that sponsorship. And maybe get a committee of 1 or 2 people to work on updating that.
Mhm. And the website.
on the webs, because since we're really scaling down, it's not gonna be too much that you need to have on there. Basically, it's just gonna be,
We need maybe a flat rate buy-in
Yeah.
for sponsorship and have them provide us with
Yeah.
banner.
a
Yeah,
banner,
that's
but we also need to tell them what size, like not a banner as big as this room, like we need to a respectably sized banner so that, no,
Give them
One
one
has-
idea, a range.
yeah.
A banner, and then I would also add to that that they will be thanked publicly on stage throughout the
Yeah, or
event.
you-
So
you're
whoever's
still-
doing your talking can, at every hour or so.
You're doing.
I wasn't sure, every hour be up there saying, we want to thank our sponsors and have them being talked about, because that's really, as a business person for myself, I know the bank, it's more important to us, this is good, but really having people hear your name over and over and over again and seeing your name up on the banner
Would
is
you
really.
rather take on sponsors than food truck?
Sure, I can.
Okay, do you want to take on food truck stuff? I can.
Sure.
And then you and I can get together, logging into the website and updating these things. I'd rather get the sponsorship form updated this week. Is there any?
If you want to give that to me, I will try to work up
It's on
something,
the-
email it to
It's
you.
just the printout
Okay.
on the website.
Okay, I'll,
I can give you this one, it's my only copy right
no,
now.
I'll print
but,
one off tomorrow. That's okay.
You and I could get together sometime in the next week or something. I
Sure.
could stop by in Pleasant Hill on my way home this week. Is there any rules, like, was this set of pricing and placement and all that, was this created by the committee?
It was created for the program.
Okay, so the city itself doesn't have a say in our,
No, I think our committee created.
okay, our
it.
committee created it. Okay, so we can change this to anything we
Yes,
deem.
right.
Right.
I think you're fully in control this
So-
year.
How do we, on the food vendors things, how do we find out of all the regulations we need to follow with these food vendors?
I have the city code
Okay.
that I can.
Because you guys were talking about vendor licenses and food handlers.
They
Yeah.
have to have their own.
They have to have the,
They
they
were
have to provide.
inspected.
shows.
I think
Yeah.
historically for us, the no dogs thing was our extent of.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I'm looking in here that you got the Lowell High School football team doing a soft serve ice cream. They don't have a food vendor license.
But
Well,
the
he-
vendor itself does.
It's actually what it is. They have to go through Lane County and pay, I think it's $50 to be able to serve any kind of food.
Okay.
And they'll have to have that. And I'm sure the inspector will come.
And they
because it's a
can
big
do it
event.
online.
Mhm.
For
And somebody on
instance,
site has to have food handler's card. One
Yeah.
person.
Yeah, yeah.
But it is the food truck's responsibility. So if an
Right.
inspector shows up and does an inspection, it's not on the BlackBerry
It's not on
Jam,
anything.
it's on that food truck.
So
Yeah,
like for
if you-
the
if you look at-
school, they probably use the same people that do the concession stand,
Okay.
so. they
But
probably-
I'm just trying to get straight in head if we're doing this of what we need to lay that laid out.
But that should be on that form somewhere that they're responsible to have.
Yeah,
their own.
it's quite clear on that form
Yeah.
what their
I
responsibility
think it's down
is.
where you sign.
And the time they have to be set up, ready for the inspection from the health department.
So before we move away now, would you guys be comfortable with us, and since we have this year, we're so short time, we don't have a folder, we don't have this and that, that if we said for a minimum donation of whatever, we will hang your banner and mention you on the stage, and then they can do whatever they want?
It looks like the lowest amount on the original form that you get. This says commercial booth space and banner placement. So it's kind of like,
Because we don't really have enough options to be able
We
to
really
offer
don't.
different levels. So if we decided as a group that we, $200 or $100 or whatever, because then we can just say for your minimum donation of, and we may not get as much as we have in the past, but when we don't have anything to offer them, to break it in.
Because we used to get it, you know, we get a chunk of money from Sunny back, you
Right.
know, over the 3 days, but, you know,
Right.
obviously that, you can't expect them to
Right.
pay the $2,000.
And
How
that
much,
would
you know, how
simplify.
much is a band gonna cost? Are we just getting one band to come out or?
No, yeah.
I would imagine they're gonna be at least.
Oh, no,
one.
no, we get plenty of bands.
Yeah, but how much are they?
I couldn't tell you, that's all at City Hall, that information. I'd love to go down the accounting because, you know, it would help me to figure out where we're at as to what these costs were.
Typically, you're probably
Um,
gonna pay $400.
Because it,
400 for a band?
If it's a,
oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
the city pays and then we reimburse, it comes out of the BlackBerry Jam Fund.
So how many bands are there gonna be?
Well, 4 or 5.
Yeah, I'd say 4 or 5.
Is,
They usually have 2 a day, one in the morning. or
Who
in the
was
early
handling
day,
the
and one in
entertainment?
late.
Paula,
Paula,
I'll
So
get
we're-
hold, you know, I'll give them a week, you know, I'll talk to them and.
We'll end up spending $3,000 on entertainment?
you could.
Yeah.
well, and then you've got the guy,
Oh,
And then the
Well, the
sound is gonna be separate
sound.
probably, and that's probably gonna be 12 to 15.
well, we
Well,
had
that's
a
what we get.
So
volunteer. didn't we?
5,000 for entertainment? How many banners can we hang up?
I don't know.
What I'm getting at is if we knew how many banners we wanted, perhaps the sponsorships to pay for the.
Well, the thing you gotta remember is you've got different levels of sponsors that we're gonna send out to. So like for me, I could do 500 without a problem, but you know, the barbecue shack, $50 might be the most they could do. And not everybody's gonna give you a banner. So unless you're gonna do different levels where you're offering them things, that's why I was trying to think of something that's a fair across the board for everybody.
Well, let's,
and we do get money from people who don't want to be advertised or put
Yeah.
anywhere.
And there'll be a lot of
You
people that will
know,
provide a banner.
just want to support,
well,
you know.
so it's kind of jumping ahead, but one of the things that George and I discussed, every year they were doing T-shirts, they would put person who won the car show the previous year, their car would be featured on the shirt. And we were discussing using the this throwback logo that was on the 25th anniversary and putting it on a shirt with some logo like bringing back the,
The jam is
Yeah,
back
some-
or something like that. you
Yeah,
know, some fancy-
it's
Have you made
Possibility
money-
we
have
could
you
get
made money on
the
t-shirts?
high level
Yeah.
sponsors logos on the back of the shirt. So like we could have, hey, have a spot and give us a banner and we'll put it up for, you know, this much money. If you want to, maybe if we do the T-shirt thing, they could get their logo on the back of the shirt. You know, the way, like when the
Yeah,
the cancer walk goes,
Right.
you know, some people do that.
I haven't had good luck with t-shirts, so I have a hard time because there's the cost and then it's making sure you sell enough of them to make it worth. So I don't know,
Okay.
but I don't know what BlackBerry Jams has done, but I know for the events we do in Oak Ridge, t-shirts we've lost money on pretty much.
I work at CAT, so we sell T-shirts like, you know,
Yeah.
candy bars, why not?
Yeah. I don't know, I guess we just need to, I don't know how you determine the levels of sponsorship when we have so little to offer.
Is
for-
everyone okay with,
Well, why don't you just do
Rusty
a
and I just
minimum and
doing
then
a
let
side.
them decide what they wanna,
yeah,
because I talked to Bridgetown. And they said they would donate what they did in the prior years before.
maybe we just leave the parameters here and change what it says as far as the get.
Well, if we have stuff to offer, but what do we have to offer besides a banner being in it? We don't have the program.
Well, like this says, you get a commercial booth space and a banner placement. And like this one says, you'll get. Where was it? This one says you'll get recognition via social media, press releases, and mentioned on stage in between the bands. So it's not just,
Mhm.
it's not just print and banner placement, it's going into bigger,
Well, we can we'll just get together, I guess. and go over that.
yeah. And Tim, wasn't like certain things in the past, like the kids corner, like kids corner sponsored by Weimar or
I
something like
believe,
that?
I really wasn't in charge of the kids corner, so I
Oh, you
didn't,
weren't.
no, I was, grease pole climb and the blackberry pie eating and bake contest.
What, could you do the coin in the hay?
Yeah, I'd be willing to do the punch in the
Yeah,
head.
because I think
Yeah.
that's as far as we could go with the
Yeah.
kids' corner.
I'd
The best
absolutely
one,
be willing to do
you
the punch in the head. That's
Yeah.
not a tough one
Yeah.
to figure out.
know, Because, you know, the amount of toys that we have to collect and all, how big of a job that is, we figured that maybe this year, just keep it simple, coin in the hay, periodical like you do, and the grease pole, periodical like you do, and that would probably be enough.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if
Circumstances.
it's a good year to do the blackberry pie eating. contest.
No,
I don't-
we
Yeah, we
talked
just-
about
yeah.
that.
We
too.
have a point on that.
Kind of.
But I do
Yeah.
think that trying to facilitate the following year, trying to get the kids corner back again.
Oh, yeah, because we'll have time to build up, hopefully, then, yeah. And-
We're also missing the scouts, which did a lot of the work for the kids corner and things like that. So yeah, I think the coins in the hay, maybe do a few more events on the coins in the hay, just to kind of make up the slack on not
Yeah.
having anything else.Maybe just do a few more occurrences of it or
Whatever ideas you've got.
something, a little more
that
money,
would be
into a
helpful.
little more
Yeah.
change thrown out there.
And if
versus
we
what
get any,
previously done.
any booth people, I don't know what we're calling them now, that are doing balloons or face cans, we could put
Well,
them
those,
over there.
they show up as well, you know, they usually have a spot, you know.
So,
But they're just part of the vendors.
Balloon
Yeah.
thing, you know.
So,
So Tim, did you do the kids' corner before?
no,
Oh,
No,
I just didn't know, have you ever dealt with either Jerry's or Home Depot about getting kits from them for kids to build things?
no, but like I said, I really just did the grease pole.
Oh,
I built the
okay.
grease pole that I did the whole thing and then I baked all the pies for the blackberry pie eating contest
Oh.
and then ran the blackberry pie baking
Oh, okay.
contest as well.
Okay.
So Savannah Largent was the one that was doing the kids corner last, I think, but then she said that she didn't want to continue doing it. So,
Joyce was the expert on the kids going.
yeah, Joyce started it and Savannah kind of was running with it the last couple of years. So,
And of course, they give out, you know, 25 cents, you know, and they spin a wheel and get a little toy and not, so Joyce was eager to collect toys from anybody.
there's various games they built, like, you know,
Yeah.
kind of like, you
And
know,
they're all in the storage facility.
so we can bring that back later on. But I think just simplifying things.
Oh, it is. So we don't got enough people to
Grease
have
pole,
it,
which kind
yeah.
of takes care of the, you know, 12 to 20-year-olds.
Is that climbing it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the corn in the hair, the kid, young
You
kids
know,
like
from
that.
whatever
you know.
to
Well,
10 to
actually,
12.
the firemen too, they have a thing where they set up an obstacle.
Yeah, the
course
drag,
For the kids.
spray
who
and
want
crawl
to-
or something like that.
Squirt.
And, yeah, they
Are we
said
gonna
they'd be
do that?
wanting to do that again.
I think somebody would need to talk to Lon and see whether, I'm sure that.
Yeah, I can.
I'm
do- I
sure
see
Lon
Lon.
would be
I
willing
see
to do
Lon.
that.
He will, I'm
Yeah.
sure he will.
Oh, he
Yeah,
will.
'cause I had mentioned it to him and he says whatever. we
Yeah.
need.
Not very community minded if he doesn't, does he?
Yeah.
Oh, dang,
They enjoy getting out.
dang, calling Lon out.
Yeah, better believe it. Well, everybody out when it's Blackberry Jam, you know.
But they enjoy participating.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, we're still having the horseshoe throwing.
yeah, that's
Well,
actually,
that-
I was gonna say that
Yeah, there was
next.
that one guy
Have
that
you
was
heard
here last
from
time.
Brad?
said he
wanted
was-
to do
I haven't
cornhole,
talked to
too.
Brad, no.
We
Yeah.
had Brad at our very first meeting.
Yeah.
I haven't heard from him since.
And he wanted to do cornhole too, I think.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think he wanted, yes, you're right, both of them.
Do you have his number? I could reach out to him tomorrow.
Brad's
See if
also
he's
my
still-
hookup to get the bucket truck that's having the grease pole too.
Tim wants to call him tomorrow and ask him if he's doing.
Yeah, I might have Brad's number.
Hold on,
actually.
it's so in the
Yeah, it's
document.
right there.
George has got everybody's number.
I don't know how old it is. Is that a date on it?
Tim said he worked with them on the grease pole.
Yeah,
so-
I have Brad's number.
Yeah, as I remember, it was only one day that he did that, right?
The horseshoe?
Uh-huh.
No, I think it ran Friday night and then into Saturday, if I
Yeah.
remember right.
Okay, because it'd be good to have it on.
Yeah,
both
because
days.
it's an elimination thing. It's a bracket, so
Only
okay.
Saturday and Sunday.
they have the
Yeah.
matchups and then they work their way down to the finals.
Yeah,
And
so
I'm
we're
sure
not
his
doing
intent.
Friday night, but you could certainly do Saturday and
Well,
Sunday.
that's what he said.
Yeah.
This is what we agreed with him when he was here at the last meeting.
Yeah, they were throwing horseshoes until after dark.
Oh,
They
yeah.
had lights and everything.
He brings his own lights.
And then if we,
But Brad
All
works for
the
Lane
other
Electric and he
police
helps me
dogs,
set the
you
grease
know.
pole. They brought their bucket truck out to set the grease
Okay,
pole.
just a side note, those are blueberries.
So,
That's the Fall Creek Blueberry Farm.
Oh, you're
That's what they sell, you see.
I know, it's just
But
a
we'll-
celebrating the blackberry jam. and it's
We'll
blueberry.
take the money even if it's oranges, you know.
That's funny. That's good.
That's pretty funny. I was like, okay, those are small.
You know, everybody thinks blackberry jam is referring to the food. blackberry
You
jam.
don't have enough blackberries to say.
No, the jam was for the music.
Oh, but
The
it wasn't,
music
but
jam.
the blackberries
I
wasn't just
know,
blackberries.
I know.
Okay.
Virginia Galvin.
Lana, do you know if Virginia's going to continue to do blackberry jam stuff or?
Yeah, she was here last
Yeah,
time.
and then we changed the date back to the 30th, so I wasn't sure if she was gonna continue doing blackberry jam overall or
Oh, yeah.
if she was gonna drop off since the
Oh, no,
quilt show
she'll
was.
be, she'll
Okay,
be,
she'll,
she'll be here, yeah.
I think she'll be here.
She
She was uncertain whether they'd be out of town. She didn't know, but generally she participates. And then we have Grange members that help run the information booth. So
and you do the information booth.
I do.
I think everybody kind of takes turns with the information. This is generally usually how it goes.
I did notice there was a button in that binder that says staff on it. Are there staff buttons for everyone?
They bought
What's the-
t-shirts the last time. They got everybody staff t-shirts.
I was wondering about
Yeah.
that. Okay.
Or what you want to do about that. Buttons are probably cheaper. I don't
Yeah,
know.
because when this thing says it takes 1,500 volunteers to run the blackberry jam, so. I don't know if we want to make 1,500.
That's 1,500 volunteer hours.
Oh, is that what it is? I was like, holy cow.
Tom doesn't need.
I'm thinking, I quit.
I just saw 1,500 volunteers. and I was like, Jesus.
If we could get that many, it would be a heck of an event.
Yeah, the whole,
Well,
town would be
doesn't
filled
the
up.
office have a button maker? I think the school does. I think if you talk to Maureen,
I think Maureen got them taken care of last time, I believe.
she can get a name tag thing.
So Blackberry Jam volunteer, I think, isn't it?
I'm not sure. It's in the front flap of that.
Well, we had t-shirts the
What does it
last year
say?
we did it. But I think Maureen has a button maker at school.
Says Blackberry Jam Festival and then
Okay.
staff at the bottom of it.
Okay.
We may not want to stand out completely.
Looking on the website, when you go to the vendor form, it's the craft vendor form. It's not a food vendor.
There's a
Yes,
separate thing in the hamburger.
Yeah, you
food
drop
vendors,
down.
I think.
Yes.
Never heard that called a hamburger.
We started calling it that during one of our training sessions with all the technicians at work because it was just the quickest
Well,
way
there's-
to refer back to it.
Because all there is in here is just the sponsorship, the parade, and then it says vendors. And then when you read through it, it's, the download is strictly for
Oh,
craft vendors.
actually, if you read right here, it says the craft vendor form can be downloaded below. The food vendor application will be posted soon. So I guess we gotta figure out how to
You have to
post that soon.
update all that.
So who's working on the website?
Oh, okay.
Okay. It's in the right hands.
And of course, that's one of the main things to get that up and running so that people
Mhm.
can log in and
Whenever you have-
put themselves available for
When it's time.
booths and so forth.
Oh, yeah, it'd be about 8:30.
I don't even have a watch on. so
There's a big clock right behind us.
There you go.
Who wanted Brad's number?
I've got Brad's.
Oh, I've got it here. Who wanted it? Somebody.
I did. I wanted it.
541. Sorry. 914, is that what you got?
Folks,
Tim? Yeah.
these phone numbers are all being recorded for the whole world.
Oh.
Well, does that matter?
Yes.
I think I have it right here then, if it starts like that.
Here you go.
Depends on how the world is.
Thank you, Jeremy. That's important to know.
Okay.
And Jeremy Cloddle's phone number is.
Everybody already has my phone.
I just need your mother's name.
Social Security.
What's your favorite
Just
pet's
the last
name?
Just allow your.
Can I get the first 16 digits of your credit card?
936.
So, George, I found one of your meeting minutes from a couple that you gave me, and it has a model airplane or RC airplane.
No, forget that.
Okay.
Well, we're recording, I better not say.
Yeah, you better not say it.
Right,
I'm
Right.
crossing that off.
right.
And then the other thing I found that we never discussed was a 5K run from the high school kids, or
Well, it was more than that, actually.
it was, okay.
Yeah,
Um,
it was a sponsored by the athletic people who do 5K runs, and it became issue, and it didn't materialize.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll cross that off.
Complications with it, let's put it that way.
So my intention of asking all these things of you guys is to make a new agenda for what
Items,
we are
yeah.
doing this
Yeah.
year, and I'm trying to lock in, like, for sure,
Yeah.
all the events that we're gonna do, so I can just make our new list that we can all follow.
Yeah.
Instead
And then we
of
should keep this,
jumping all
that
over
we can
this.
get back to this.
Yeah.
In subsequent years, hopefully. you know.
Yes.
So going back to the car show, we kind of skated right over that. Is anyone going to reach out to Nate, or do we just want to say no car show this year?
Well, he's not interested, but I'm going to try again to see if I can find somebody.
Anybody,
Does
does he maybe have someone he might
I don't
pass
know.
off to?
That was part of the problem, is I think Nate didn't feel supported. I think Nate felt kind of as an island. And
On his own.
Yeah.
kind of
Support
sort of,
Nate.
Yeah.
Maybe you can have them
That's
just
a
come
lot
be
of,
in the
that's a lot of
parade.
support you're gonna need to give, by the
Maybe they
way.
can come
Is
and be in
it
the parade and then just
the,
park their cars for people to look at.
That's what I would,
Yeah.
there
See,
is
and that's
enough
what
people
I
around
had
with classic
said
cars, where we
too,
could just say,
but-
hey, we're opening up the gates to the high school football field, or if the high
Yeah,
school works with
afterwards
us.
you can park and people
Yeah.
can look at your
Yeah.
vehicles.
Yeah,
You see,
open the
and the
hood.
thing is, and
show it
like we
off.
said, we didn't, if we were going to do something, we don't need all the categories like we had before. We should just have people's choice. That's the end of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
A lot of these guys,
Just have a drop
there are
box. to
some
go.
ego
Well,
maniacs.
what we did at the May Day thing
Yeah.
last year was nice.
And everybody enjoyed that, but
That was what
we
it
could do
was.
it that way. It would be a lot easier to administer.
Just
you
have
know.
some ballots in a
Yeah.
drop box.
Yeah, that's it,
So-
people's choice.
What if we have Tina make up a little poster that's like, we could put up at Finn's Drive-In, and all the, hot spots for these things is like, come to the BlackBerry Jam car show, and just for, I don't know, we need a fancy way of wording, like, there's no award, but
Parade and car show.
parade and car
Well,
show,
the thing is,
and
though, I would think George would probably agree. When you say car show, a lot of them are thinking, okay. we're
Yeah,
gonna
that's
get
what I'm trying
trophies,
to
We're gonna
figure
get, there's gonna be this big
Yeah.
hoopla. So unless you're gonna do that, it's more of just inviting them to join. and be part of the
We
parade,
got,
maybe.
we got more cars than I anticipated.
There was a lot,
Thing,
yeah.
because it was a kind of a put together thing.
Yeah.
Enjoy, everybody.
Maybe it would be, I mean, they already do it in the parade, but maybe it would be good to just tie it to the parade and say, after the parade, we're going to be opening up, an area for the cars to park, so people can come, look at your cars, and there will be a people's choice category, voting, but not call it a car show, but just make it part of the parade, and after the parade,
Well,
allow them to park.
The problem with that, they won't enter in the parade
Oh,
because they're frightened of the cars overheating.
Oh,
So they just, the ones that are brave enough, just filter in when we get to the state
Oh.
park.
I didn't realize.
Yeah, oh yeah,
So
yeah.
maybe just make a
Yeah.
special parking.
So we
for
can just,
classic
I mean,
cars.
it's a car show, and we just need to put on there that due to starting up again, shorten the version of it, and that the awards will be people's choices.
Instead of a car show, come show off your car.
yeah, like, show off.
Because the guys are asking me at the club, are we going to have it?
Yeah.
So I think the simple version, people's choice, that way you don't have to have a lot of administration. Just when you go look at the cars, you get a ticket and you put it in the box.
But, so George is in a car club. So he could certainly get the word out that we would have a display area for them to come and display their car.
Yeah, we could call it a show up or a show off or something like that,
Show
but
off your car.
yeah.
Because you're in the club, you see those fellas anyway, right?
Yeah, well, it needs to be on the high school football field.
Yeah,
Will they
Yeah.
let you park cars on the high school?
yes,
Yeah.
that's what he is.
Mhm.
And the whole field was full.
Wow.
Yeah, 100 cars. Normal.
Yeah.
A lot of football fields will not let you park your cars
Yeah.
on.
Well, we have a good relationship. with
That's
the
good.
school.
And they have promises to work now.
How am I
You know,
doing,
on
George?
on the
What am I
parade,
missing?
you know, these Shriners that drive around in these little go-kart things. I got a call from those guys yesterday. They're buying new cars apparently.
Nice.
And they want to see if they can come in the parade. I said, "Well, you better believe it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You know,
They haven't been around for a while. You don't see them a whole lot anymore.
no. And the guy was telling me that you can't buy a go-kart in Oregon or Washington. You have to go to Idaho to buy them.
Wow.
Oh, because it's two-stroke engine.
Eh?
Yeah.
What difference does that make?
Yeah.
You mean
It's a- it's a
go-kart, like-
Environment.
Pollution.
Tiny
Yeah,
little,
like
tiny
California.
go-karts.
California.
That's what they drive.
Oh, little kids, you know, what
Yeah.
kids do. I mean, kids
That's what
do
they
it,
drive,
you
you know,
know.
that's what the Shriners drive. Things up here.
You know, they zip around and put
They're
on a
fun,
display.
yeah. And then you got your side-by-side groups, they'll probably come, but, you know, they're usually up for parades. So,
that's nice.
And then I'll
You guys part of the
That's
side-by-side group?
get hold of the
Land
police
side by side.
department for
Yeah,
the
me too.
canine, again, police
We haven't been
dogs.
able to go on any of the rides, but we have to part of it.
That's what it's like about working. you know?
What'd you say about the canines, George?
I'll contact Springfield Police.
Okay,
again
that was my next
And get
thing.
that going again.
That would also could be a show on stage. You could have them do some sort of a, with their dogs.
They
Don't
do
they
it.
have
Well,
a,
they used to
They
do
do
it,
it,
yeah.
an
yeah.
area
Yeah.
assigned to
Well, they
them?
put on quite a show.
Yeah. And they put on a good show this last time I saw.
The only
Um,
problem last year, they were busy chit chatting in the canteen and forgot what time they had to be out here.
Whoops.
Yeah. So they came all up here with all the lights flashing and the sirens going. Oh, shoot, we should be up there. Let's go.
So the last thing I can think of is when George and I had coffee last week. We were talking about the pie contest and I have. So we want to just cross off pie eating completely and make it a bake-off. But we want to make it a blind bake-off, like nobody knows whose pies are whose.
They always have been.
Okay. And then maybe have do you have youth versus
No,
adult?
it's an open category.
It is.
Yeah.
So maybe the idea, I think, was to kind of gear it towards maybe getting kids involved, like baking and entering the contest. So maybe have a kids category, ages up to, I was thinking 12 or 13, like 0 to 13. And then the adults start from 14.
I
on.
will say this, historically, we're lucky if we get 4 to 6 pies.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that right? 'Cause
Yeah.
I've never been at that end when it's been going.
I mean, so there's been a few years where we've gotten maybe 8 or 10, but not very often.
Well,
There's
why-
been years where we've got as few as 4.
Why don't we do what, like Tim suggested, why don't we leave it off this year and plan for it next year? and go to
Yeah,
town
if
with
it's
it?
been that low,
What do you think?
then.
Hmm.
Did anybody think of asking the coach to do that BlackBerry? What was it?
Cobbler.
Cobbler that he did.
If they do this officer, they do it with that.
Okay,
Why don't you do
It's
a
out of the same
BlackBerry
booth.
wine
because
competition?
I think he was ill.
There we go.
The last year that we had it, he was ill and couldn't do it. But I think he wanted to continue.
We had it though. didn't we?
He did it in
Yeah,
May.
We had
at the-
we had
He did
comfort.
it in May.
Last time.
I'm pretty sure.
No,
Yeah.
The last year they may have only done like blackberry syrup and the soft serve. They
yeah,
might not have
George,
had
they
cobbler
did
that
not
year.
have the cover. He was ill.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm thinking in May.
In May they did.
Yeah,
In May they
oh,
did.
yeah. You're talking about the Blackberry jam,
Uh-huh,
yeah.
the last year.
So speaking of what happened in May, well, this happened at the Blackberry Jam. The coffee shop ended up doing a big thing that we didn't even know was gonna go on, and a lot of people ended up there. Is that gonna interfere with the festivals of the jam?
I would hope not, because the Blackberry jam is the big thing for
Okay.
the community. I would assume
Did you-
that wouldn't be an issue.
Reach out to them?
Yeah.
George?
Yeah, I'll talk to them.
Well, Shannon, who is going to be doing,
That's it, yeah, there's a connection.
yeah, because she organized the Christmas parade
Yeah.
through the coffee shop.
Mm.
So I'm sure that hopefully we'll wrap her into these meetings the next go around and get that all tied together. Maybe we could reach out to her this week too.
Yeah, I'll call her.
Any-
See, it's kind of different because with the Blackberry Jam, you have your food trucks out there. They're already way out there in the field and around and people know where to go. Where we did it in May, there wasn't really that.
And it was
available.
pretty.
Yeah, it's just, it's got a different.
Yeah, it has a,
Yeah.
it was a whole different.
I've been asked if we're gonna do that again, and I said no, because we're doing the jam. Festival, so.
Uh-huh, yeah.
Well, I think if, I'm just spitballing, if we don't end up with any car show stuff and we don't have the pie bake off, we might need to come up with some random little competition of some kind. Because without those two things, all we're doing.
You'll
is-
have horseshoes and you'll have cornhole.
Yeah, we'll have that.
Those two. of
I'm
them.
thinking
Bullseye.
kids,
And
like,
pole climb.
geared towards kids, like,
Well, one thing we need to
Something we
make
can
sure we
put
get
in
hold
the-
of is Mr. Magic. The magician
yeah,
guy.
that's true.
The kids love that guy, yeah.
Who
So
reaches
the
out to
kids will
him?
have coins
The craft.
in the hay and a
Yeah.
whole fine.
And I'm sure there'll be somebody there painting some faces.
Dr. Delusion,
Yeah, the kids love that stuff.
yeah. And then, well, I guess we would have that crawl, drag and squirt.
I think the fire department would do that squirting thing.
Yeah, and it's going on periodically. You
Pretty
know,
much all day.
all day, yeah.
Firefighters just kind of rotate in, helping the kids out, and they just kind of run it the whole time.
Yeah, I know. One year when I was a kid, they had put on the news. What was that guy's name? That was the forecaster who's really into gardening. He put on they were down at the Lane County Fair and he was like, just randomly said, hey, I'm gonna hold a contest for whoever brings me the biggest bug they can find. And so kids were just like, everybody at my school was finding bugs and stuffing them in their pockets to take to the fair, you know, and they just couldn't wait to, you know, everyone had a bug in a bag to hand to this guy. So if we maybe say, bring us the biggest blackberry, you know, and then we'll line them up on a random,
We always press whether blackberries are ripe that week.
yeah, you know,
So
They're not
But-
ever right.
you know, something,
once every. so
something that
often.
makes a kid not let their parents not
have a
go to the
pet.
blackberry jam,
You have
you
a
know.
pet costume party, let them dress their pets up and do a costume.
Well,
Oh
we
my
can't
gosh,
have
they would have
dogs.
a
or
cow
anything.
that's
That's right.
We prefer not
That's
to have.
right, I forgot.
They'll still bring dogs.
George
Nothing
is
but
gonna
dogs.
There'll be
answer
service
that.
dogs.
Right.
Everybody's got a service
Oh,
dog.
yeah.
Everyone's one,
I know,
right?
yeah.
Well, the kids could have some kind of dress up contest.
As a parent, No.
Well, you could do a coloring contest, which would be
You could
very
do a
easy.
coloring
You could
contest.
come
That's
up
not
with
a bad
some
idea.
picture of a.
Just have a table with
something,
crayons and
yeah.
pictures to color on. That's not a bad idea.
That's pretty easy, other than judging. I don't know how you.
Yeah, the
decide who's
judging
gonna
is
judge.
hard.
We missing anything?
For kids' musical chairs.
Yeah.
A little area.
Guess you could have a BlackBerry cakewalk or BlackBerry pie walk instead of a cakewalk.
Not a bad idea. Do cupcakes with blackberry frosting or something.
Yeah, as a prizes for. Yeah, you do that. Tina,
Yes,
if you need help contacting some of your booth people, I'll help you.
okay, thank you, Lana.
We can get the list and kind of split it up and.
Yeah,
Are they charging money for the booths?
I think we decided that. last
Yeah, and
meeting,
how
didn't we?
much do we know?
It's on the forum. We went over all that in the last
$50
meeting.
per booth.
Just leave it
Okay.
as it was, I believe we said.
And that's fine, I just didn't know what to tell them if I had to call.
Are we, so previously, we sanitation services, setting out spider boxes for electrical distribution.
George says he's doing got all that covered.
Yeah, Joyce is doing the garbage.
Okay, who's doing the spider box setups?
Mike.
Mike is gonna do it again? Okay, yeah, Mike's traditionally done that part.
And
so.
he's gonna be the security guard too.
Ooh.
Who?
You,
Don't-
I said, who does security? And you said I do, so.
Don't forget, because that would be important.
I delegate. On that one.
One thing did we decide on that we talked about last time? I can't remember, since we're not doing Friday night, people will be setting up Saturday morning. Is that what we decided?
Yeah, I think we decided, Tim made a good point that if we charged this year, next year, we
Right.
have a harder time charging them back to the normal price.
Yeah, I was
so.
just trying to remember what we said about setup, if they were gonna, somebody mentioned coming in the night before, but I think it would be more, they have to be set up and ready to go by what, 10? What
Right.
time's the parade start, or everything start?
Well, it usually kicks off at
I
10
think
o'clock.
it was 10.
Because that'll be important for food and everybody to know what their timeline is, of
So-
when they can get in and what time.
That'll have to be,
Where
that'll have
have-
to be on the application form, yeah.
Where have vendors stayed overnight in the past? Do we have like a set place for
Well, a
them
lot
to
of them,
camp and
a
RVs
lot
or
of
anything?
them, some of them sleep with a trailer and sleep around. Some of them go to a motel and come back. And so there's no set place per se for them.
Because-
But you did offer security overnight.
Yeah, that's the
right?
thing we
Yeah.
did discuss last time. I'm
Have-
recalling is if we do let them come set up Friday night, we will need to hire security for Friday night and Saturday night.
So I think it's better to tell them they can get in, start setting up at like 6 a.m. to whatever. the cutoff is.
Well, the thing is,
Well, and that might be outside of. the
What I
workplace
think,
too.
what I think would be a good option is to say is if you're going to come Friday night set up, you have to provide your own security.
correct.
yes,
Okay.
And that way, if they just want to sleep with their booth or park their SUV there, crash in the back of it or whatever their protocol is.
I was just
you know.
gonna say that.
Yeah.
You're still
Yeah.
gonna have to
Camp
know
on the
that they're gonna
street
do that,
in the
though,
middle
'cause
of
people
the
have to be there to set up
Sure.
that, right?
Jeremy, we have security coming out on a daily basis, right? To
Where from?
Lowell.
What's wrong?
You have a police officer that comes every day.
They just
do,
kind of
right?
come and turn around and
Yeah.
go back.
Not every
where they
day.
came from.
He doesn't
No. We have 40 hours of random patrol every month with Oak Ridge.
Oh,
Every
Okay, so
month?
it's not
Yeah.
daily.
Oh, no.
That's correct. It's not daily.
40 hours a month.
Damn.
Okay,
So you're gonna have to pay him extra to
Does that
be
include
here
travel time?
or
Well-
whatever.
I was
Okay, so no,
thinking whoever you have them come out on those two.
So it's possible I could coordinate with the Oak Ridge Police Department to say we want 12 hours of the monthly patrol time to be allocated.
To those 2 days.
Yeah,
Well, that's what normally happens.
Yeah.
They work that into their timetable to be present during BlackBerry Jam. Like late Friday night when, the bands start. And then periodically, they're here basically all day Saturday. And that's about it, isn't it?
I would say focus, Saturday evening and night
Yeah. Yeah,
this year.
they're here, yeah.
So that would be a good thing to contact them, say you already know you're gonna need it. For, what is the night, the 30th?
So it looks
Okay.
like in the city code,
The 29th and the 30th.
we are responsible for security for.
But the event doesn't start till Saturday, so if we say that we allow vendors to come set up Friday night, it's on their own.
Yeah,
Okay.
Jeremy can probably look into that and make sure there's no issues with that involving camping within the park or anything, but
camping is not allowed, but
We can-
I'm not gonna go out
we
there.
could probably table something at a city council.
well, I
meeting.
don't think there's any need for that because we've never done it before and it's gone quite smoothly.
I'm not
But
gonna
we
go out
had
there with the
security
kids.
Friday night.
If the people can do it in the park with their
Yeah.
boats, then
Yeah, I mean,
With
we
their
know
what?
what they do, who they are and what's happening.
drag boats,
You know, I
Okay.
mean,
I don't
I
think
listened
would
to 'em
even
all
offer
night.
Friday night.
talking and yelling down in that parking lot from the lake.
I mean, they can come early and be ready for 10 o'clock. I mean, those guys are pretty slick.
So what time would the trucks need to be set up and ready to go by? 10 o'clock?
10 o'clock.
Yeah, we don't want. We were saying last time, we don't want them trying to drive in and park or anything after a certain time, so we would wanna. We would want to put a cutoff. A certain amount of times before the opening of the gates.
I
right?
think one
So-
thing you're gonna have to look into is when the inspections can happen.
Right.
From the food inspector, I'm a little concerned that previously we've had them set up on Friday, which is a traditional business day. Is it going to take any special arrangements with the food inspector to come on a Saturday? If
Right,
that's
and
we-
what that's gonna cost.
Yeah, versus having them come out in the evening on Friday, which is, and they may be told that this may be just, normal business for them, that other events start on Saturdays, so they come.
I think so
But I just
too.
don't know.
Yeah.
I know for us on our events in Oak Ridge on Saturdays, they don't ever tell us when they're coming or if they're coming. Sometimes they do,
Yeah.
sometimes they don't, but they show up sometime throughout the day.
Yeah,
Yeah, for
Isn't that
instance, at
same
the
with
Grange,
electricians?
we have a
They
breakfast on a
combine and make
Sunday
sure
and they
everything's
show up every now and then,
for the city.
unannounced.
It's
On a
when you
Sunday.
apply for that permit, that triggers them to know, okay, we've gotten 12 people applied for food permits on this day in Lowell, we're gonna be there.
gotcha.
So you don't have to call them?
You don't have to call them.
Okay.
Each individual person will have to go through Lane County to get their food, their permit.
Okay,
And that will trigger the inspector to know there's an event going on at these times, and then they'll come when they.
So basically the people that want to have food, this is all new to me,
Yep.
so they're gonna go online, they're gonna fill out the application, and they're gonna submit that to the city of.
No, it's all done through the county. They'll know. They
No, I know, I
what-
mean, when they
Oh, for
fill
the
out
BlackBerry Jam.
Oh,
Yeah.
for the
you're
BlackBerry
correct. Yeah.
Jam, they're gonna send that back to the city of Eugene and then, to the city of Lowell.
Right.
And then we'll be able to know how many vendors we need, how many spots we're gonna need.
right.
Well, the thing is that the coordinator usually works very closely on a personal one when they send the form in, because we want to be sure who they are
Mhm.
to begin with, And Brett did a very good job at vetting these vendors.
Yeah, and so if they're in the binder as being someone who's been here before, that will,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
will help. And I don't know if maybe did he make notes on any problematic?
Oh, yeah, we did, yeah.
So how do,
I'll look through it.
yeah, we'll look at, so basically, how will we get notified when people are putting in?
Straight from whoever's taking the
Website?
messages off should.
Yeah.
They'll
you
notify us.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll get you guys set
Yeah.
up on the,
That we've got an application from ABC Catering,
Okay,
Okay,
reach out and talk to them and you can get a feel. And some of
And there
them
are a few emails already from.
ones that come back
a few
each year, but
places
there again,
that
we don't
Samantha
know.
sent.
What's happened, some have been out of business, some haven't, that's the thing.
Okay.
Which do you think was the best one, with the most popular?
Shaved ice.
No, I said food vendor.
Telling
The
you, yeah.
Hawaiian sheet.
I
It's
have,
it's
if
hot
anybody's
outside, so-
interested, I have a snow cone machine. The bank owns a snow cone machine and somebody could use that and have it. taken out for that day.
The shaved ice truck has been a pretty
Okay.
Yeah,
standard
the
Yeah,
Hawaiian
year in,
sheet.
year out.
It's
regular,
super popular.
but I mean,
The-
regular food, which one would you
There
think?
was that Oriental one where they had Asian dishes. And
There's
then
that
there
food
narrowed
was,
it
truck,
down.
they got a lot of big
And there
menu,
was
big growing
one
menu.
with,
I don't know
Was
if
that
it's
a
bar-
barbecue? The pink
it was
one?
a
Yeah.
barbecue.
There's a barbecue, and he's been here for quite a while.
Yeah, see, so there's some
Elephant
people there that,
ears, yeah,
you
the
know, you
elephant
kind of
ears.
sort them out, you'll know that they're regulars. And just keep an eye on them.
It looked like in 2017, they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They had eight food vendors.
Oh, yeah, that would be norm. Now, the fact that we're only having Saturday and Sunday may put some off, but maybe not, because people want to get back in business again.
Right.
So that may be something that doesn't deter them this time.
So, and is there a,
And I'll show you where, I'll show you where we go.
okay,
By the,
so we have to figure out how much space we have and how many vendors we can
well,
actually have.
I'll show you.
We'll show you, there's a
Yeah.
map.
It's got it in
I'll
it's got it in
show
the
you.
room.
I got it right here.
I'm not quite sure which one you've got there, but
Feel free to go when you have to, because-
This is from 2020.
That's the last one.
You can't see that, George?
I think
well,
that's
I can see a
the,
map, but I can't see the lines.
I think it's from 2019.
Are we good to still
See, I
just
didn't
meet once a
expect
month?
all,
When do they
this
start?
to
So
happen.
that was gonna be my closing question.
So
Do we have any other
along
general
Well, not really.
stuff
See,
to,
it's not accurate.
Everyone-
Yeah, this is not the real layout.
I was going to ask if anyone thought we should meet every 2 weeks instead of monthly, considering our time constraints.
I can obligate to once a month.
Okay.
If people want to meet more frequently, I'll give updates on the monthlies, but that's.
And of course, the box changed. a little
Yeah,
bit, too. See,
and-
this was all to do with this.
I mean,
deal.
There's this other organization that has me tagged in for meetings quite frequently.
Created a lot of-
Well, I know
Right,
George
Jeremy?
is like on the phone daily.
What are you talking about?
Okay.
So somewhere I saw where it
problem.
looked like
We'll get this
they
going.
started meeting monthly in the month of, like, into June and July up to the event, or not monthly,
Bi-monthly.
weekly or every other week. or
Yeah.
something.
And I mean, we can
Somewhere
just
I was reading that.
Yeah. it's
continue
got
on with
closer,
doing
I think
these.
we
Here's a sponsor letter that we have, 2,500.
And then usually in July,
500 and
We have a staging meeting like about a week or before, everybody goes down to jam and we have our meeting down there on site.
Well, the meeting after this one will all be at the Grange.
Will be.
No,
This is our last meeting at the library.
no, not at the Grange. I think he said at the city hall and
Yeah,
Oh,
City
in
Hall
City
in the back
Hall.
room.
No, you don't need to move right now. We're, just whenever the construction starts here, we'll have to find a different location, but we're good for now.
Okay. So,
so at least a month or two. Huh?
So we're all right for
Could
next
be a
month.
couple months.
Yeah, he doesn't really know when it's going to
When's our
start
next,
yet.
so our next meeting would be the 12th, is that right?
yeah,
If we're sticking with the second Tuesday.
We need to do that because people have a lot of other engagements on other nights, I think, really.
yeah, I think in the next few weeks, we just need to have a lot of side meetings to get all
Make
of
sure
this actually moving.
Rolling, yes, make sure it's rolling.
And the
So
priority is that website.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're stuck.
is 7 o'clock okay, or is there a chance we can meet earlier?
Well, you can meet earlier, I just won't.
Oh,
be there.
yeah.
Okay, I just was
That's why we were
curious.
doing
That's
seven.
why.
Okay, I just was curious. Nope, you're fine. I just go out for dinner and sit around and wait.
I mean, so, you know,
I'm not gonna go home and come back,
it's all right for me. I don't
but
care.
I can do Zoom too. Yeah, 7's fine.
You're the only question, right? Because you're working, right?
Tony. can't come
Tony
other than
works
seven.
until the meeting starts.
Yeah.
I get off work around 5.
Yeah, because I work. I can.
You are working
I
right
am.
now.
I'm
Yeah,
still
he's on his
working,
lunch to come here.
I want to talk to the board of directors at Bridgetown Market and see if we can,
You mean Mindy?
see if we can do, yeah, the director.
We meet again in April.
So, yeah, April 12th will be the next official committee. And
And then after that, we can consider how we might have to meet more often, you know.
yeah, and in between now and
Under the
then, I just,
circumstances, yeah.
everybody,
Mm.
if you can help me, we can get a hold of Brad about and I'll give you my number before we leave, so
Okay.
we can all connect on that, and then
So,
somebody needs to talk to Nate and see for sure if,
I would think that one of our next steps would be to make out a schedule
yeah, that's what,
for the 2 days.
it's a good idea. Do
So-
you want to do that?
Pardon me?
Do you want to do that?
No. I don't have anything to work off of.
Oh,
But
well-
you can work off of the old,
We got an old program I could give you.
Yeah, I think the problem is we're kind of shuffling and jiving so much, it'll be hard to work in that.
We don't
format.
really know exactly what all we're doing yet,
Yeah.
do we?
Well, and I mean, the other thing we could do, since there is a copy machine over at City Hall,
right.
we could buy this size paper and just make a program that is front and back, and that we can just do a single page and
A
have.
flyer.
Yeah, a flyer, but of this size, so it's kind of like a pamphlet or a
Well,
brochure.
it could even be 2 pages, one for each day, and just stay
Yeah.
together.
Well,
Who does post, you guys do posters to put up? on-
Normally, yes.
So who does those?
He's not here anymore.
yeah, I think.
Aaron Graham did the last posters.
It's the idea of having 2 pieces of paper stapled together. I don't know why. It makes me
Well, I was just thinking if you
I want to
did
do that.
posters, that way you could almost put the schedule on the
Can
poster.
Skinner do any
Yeah, but-
posters?
People
Oh,
really like
yes.
to have it in there.
Really?
Yeah.
I
They really
could,
do.
I have a guy who does that. It's a really good point.
Does what?
Skinner, he
He
can do them.
he does like the sides of buses and all the Fran's Bakery trucks. He does all of our water trucks for Peterson Cat. He has a sign making business, and he can do all of the vinyl decals, like to just
so
about
you-
anything I email him. I could draw a bunny right now and email it to him, and he'll put it on the side of my car tomorrow. So
Just so you know, we do have a large BlackBerry Jam banner. And I guess City Hall has it, I would guess. I don't know.
it's probably
Do
with
we
the
know?
binders.
Yeah.
The banner behind the stage.
Anyway, Max and his helpers usually put it up.
Yeah, we
Oh,
still have,
actually, I have that. I forgot.
And they put it up
Yeah.
out there at the Highway 58 in the covered bridge there. Huge big banner that says Blackberry Jam and the dates. So that part is covered. We have that one. Of
Well,
course,
but the dates wouldn't be right.
They have,
I think
they
it's
have
like
You just
hanging
put it
on
on
there.
there, put
the
it on.
numbers on it.
Yeah. I've
They like
seen it
10
before.
to
You
it.
don't redo it, you just change
it's
the number.
always like the 29th and 30th or 29th through 31st or something. It's always that last weekend.
Okay.
And they do change the numbers as needed.
So
Anyway,
this-
that is available for that part.
Okay, well, I need to go back to work,
Okay,
so I'm sure you guys are gonna volunteer me to do whatever, because I'm not here.
Correct.
Hurry up and go, would you?
But yeah. But yeah, just I'll see you guys the next time.
Okay.
thank
All
you.
right,
bye, Tony.
all right.
Tina, can I have your phone number?
I'll give it to you.
458
Don't say it over the.
Don't-
Oh, I
It's
have
being
it.
recorded for the,
I have it, Tina, in the. church
Yeah,
thing.
you have mine.
Yes, I do.
Where does that recording go?
I think
it
if
goes
we,
on the website.
Oh,
I would say if we want to volunteer our own phone numbers, it's not a
I
big
have
deal.
it.
It's, I can't give your phone number. But if I want to say my phone number over public meeting, I don't think it's any issue. I mean, that's my choice. It's my privacy.
We're just trying to make sure people know it's being recorded as well.
Yeah.
All right. I think I'll be reaching out to each of you and George will over the next like 2 weeks.
What you got?
I have it. Yeah.
Are we ready to adjourn?
George, do you have anything?
No, I'm just having a quick look for Jeremy's point of view. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bands last time. We won't have 6 this time. will we?
Yeah, I think, what, 2 Friday, 2 Saturday, 2 Saturday, 2 Sunday,
Yeah, yeah. Let's have a see.
and then
Well, we
Mr.
had
The magician as well.
3 on Saturday.
So 3 Saturday with the magician Sunday and another band on
And
Sunday.
then we had 2 on Friday night.
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
So we eliminate those two.
I think it was about $4,000 for music.
Is there another one of these in there?
So we might go down a little bit if we eliminate 2 bands.
Yeah.
No,
No,
she
she-
has
she
it.
Yeah,
I'll
back
try
from
and get
Paul now,
one
because I've got all of them.
for you. George probably has
In fact,
theirs.
Elizabeth's doing it now.
Because it has all the vendors
Can you
and that.
remember that guy's
Oh,
name?
that would be helpful.
We can go ahead and adjourn, just
Is
state
it-
state the
So
time.
the meeting
For the.
is adjourned at
No,
8:26
guy go
p.m.
for
1 year? No,
Say it.
no. You know, like we've done it for years. He's been doing it.
We're going to adjourn the meeting, George and Tim.
Yeah.
We're gonna adjourn the meeting, 8:26.
Sorry. All right.